This is the gruesome tale of Kaylee Jo Tucker and the monster who betrayed her love. In the summer of 2011, 19-year-old Kaylee Jo Tucker was a student at the University of Central Missouri. On June, she would go to a bar with some of her friends, and they would meet a guy named Joseph. According to some reports, Joseph had recently gotten out of prison after serving time for burglary. But despite his criminal past, Kelly would hit it off with the guy, and they would start dating. He was everything that she had ever dreamed of, or so she thought. By August, Kelly's friends were starting to get suspicious of Joseph. They started noticing that Kelly was acting weird around him, and that he was treating her badly. Despite this, Kelly would still defend him, saying that he had anger issues, not towards her, but towards other people. She would even tell her friend Brittany that she liked the way that he was dominant and in control. But one night, Joseph took things too far. He got into a massive brawl with another man in a bar, and he nearly beat the guy to death. After the fight, Kelly would dump Joseph, but their story doesn't end there. In September of 2011, just a month after breaking up with Joseph, Kelly met a new guy named Dylan, and they would quickly fall in love. Unlike her previous relationship, this one was perfect. Dylan was everything that Joseph wasn't. He was loving, caring, and treated Kelly like a princess. She was so infatuated with him that she would often tell her friends that she had never loved anyone the way that she loved Dylan. But little did she know that her ex, Joseph, was still obsessed with her. And when he found out that she had a new boyfriend, he wanted to make her pay for leaving him. On October 2011, Kelly went out for drinks with her girlfriends. Little did she know that this would be the last time that they would ever see her alive. At around 11:30 p.m., she left the bar with an unknown person and was never seen alive again. The next morning, Kelly's mother would report her missing. She didn't show up for work, and she hadn't been heard from since the night before, so her mum knew something was wrong. Police would find her car at the same bar where she was last seen, but there was no sign of her anywhere. They also found out that the last person she was seen with was an ex-con named Joseph, but he had already fled the state. After searching for several days, police would find Kelly's body in a shallow grave in a rural area. She had been shot in the back of the head, and her body had been dumped in the woods. But who was behind her murder? As it turns out, it was none other than her ex-boyfriend, Joseph. He had confessed to a friend that he had killed her. But why did he do it? It all came down to ego and pride. He couldn't accept the fact that she broke up with him and moved on with her life. He was so obsessed with her that he decided to make her pay. But he wasn't the only one to blame. Kelly's new boyfriend, Dylan, had also played a role in her death. You see, he had been arrested in the past for assault and was out on parole. But when he heard that Joseph was in town, he confronted him in a jealous rage. This led to a massive fight where Dylan ended up shooting Joseph in the leg. Joseph then did the unthinkable. He went to Kelly's house and shot her in the back of the head before dumping her body in the woods. He then stole her car and drove it to a junkyard where he set it on fire. Both Joseph and Dylan were eventually caught and taken into custody. At his trial, Joseph's defense tried to claim that Dylan was the one who had pulled the trigger, but there was no evidence to support this. In the end, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Dylan was also convicted and sentenced to 25 years in prison, but he would later be released on parole in 2018. Since the news of Dylan's release, Kelly's family has been speaking out against him and demanding that he be returned to prison. They argue that he is a danger to society and that he will never change. This case is a prime example of what can happen when love turns deadly. Both Joseph and Dylan were clearly obsessed with Kelly, but it was Joseph's possessiveness that ultimately led to her death. He was the one who planned and executed the murder, and he should be the one to pay the ultimate price. But what do you think? Do you agree or not? Let me know your thoughts below. And as always, thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, stay tuned for more content.